Alright, hey guys. I've been asked by people what's a thyroid tincture. Now, I don't make any specific thyroid tinctures, but the thing is, it's like programming. I do programming in IT and software, and there's a saying that there's a million ways to hack something. No, there's a million ways to do the same thing or get the end sort of basically same result. And I think that's true with this as well. Because, for instance, in two major ways, I want to make a real quick video on this. I don't want to talk for 2 hours on this. I'll just give you two major ways you could approach the thyroid. There's like 4 major sort of nutritional molecules that people recommend, like iron, selenium, magnesium, and I forgot the 4th one. But there's these 4 or 5 main things people recommend for thyroid, and so you eat whatever plants contain those things, and you find out where to get those 4 or 5 molecules, what plant has them. Like you might eat perejil, they call it here in Uruguay, which is parsley, because parsley is going to cover the iron and magnesium complex, and it also has selenium. So, I mean, you could eat Brazil nuts, etc., etc. Brazil nuts are high in selenium. They're going to be higher than the parsley in selenium. And I'm not sure if they're higher or lower in iron and magnesium per gram or 100 gram or not. Possibly parsley has more iron, magnesium, more absorbable than the Brazil nut. I don't know, I can't remember. But the point is that you can approach this different ways with different herbs. It's not just like one thing fits all, one size fits all. So when people ask me where's the thyroid tincture, I'm just like, okay, well, you don't understand the thyroid. The reason that you can approach the thyroid in many ways is because if your thyroid is stuffing up, if you've got a fucked up thyroid, that means that you've got a fucked up hormonal system, nutritional system, like you're denutritionalized generally. Not in all cases, but this is very common, is what I'm saying. It'll mean that you're not grounding properly, and because the thyroid is actually, besides the kidneys, where you fill up with negative ions when you ground, when you're reanionizing or grounding, or earthing, as it's known. And, the thyroid is this, like, central meridian, not the central, but the thyroid is like the master meridian where all the other meridians are running through. It's important, like the heart. The heart's another, like, important one. But the thyroid is where I notice when I've grounded sufficiently. If my thyroid stops hurting at all, and no, I don't have this pain, I'm just very sensitive, so I even know daily if I'm ungrounded or, I need more grounding, just by my thyroid. If it's got any pain, if my neck is not easy to stretch upward, for instance, and there's like congested energy in my neck, basically it feels like that. So if your thyroid is like, energetically clogging up, it's accreted too much positive charge. Basically what all that pain and everything is pointing to is that the thyroid's empty. Empty of what? Empty of the negative charge. Because every time I finish grounding, and I know when I'm finished grounding because of my thyroid being filled up. Okay, so that's like the sign that you're finished grounding, when your thyroid's filled. So when you ask for a thyroid tincture, you're not understanding the thyroid problems at all. It would begin with grounding properly every 4 to 6 hours, getting out there for, like half an hour to an hour proper grounding, you know. You can even do hours at a time, the first few times especially, if you're not a grounding person. If you've never grounded in your life or don't know what it is, you should be out there for hours, you know. And you would go to the beach and go to the forest soil, not just on concrete or something, or on just your average grass. Get really deep into the grounding, you know, even put your hands in the sand and get really grounded. You can go in the water, etc., the ocean. So you get yourself grounded, and you wouldn't believe how much swimming in the ocean and going to the beach will just already, like, do half of your thyroid problem away with, you know. So you don't even have to think about nutrition first. You think about, am I even grounding correctly? Because that's like half of the battle. And then you're not just looking for a curate pill, you know, because you're all brainwashed with this pharmaceutical sort of mindset that you need just a pill, that's what's going to heal you. So no, you're first looking at the grounding, and then what you want to do is not just look for a pill method, like people ask me for a tincture. Just that's basically them doing the pill method. Where's the thyroid tincture, they say. It's like, where's the thyroid pill? I just want to quickly take care of the problem. I don't want to worry about what really is the issue. Well, that's the wrong way to approach it, because then the issue is going to rear its head again. So yeah, grounding. Then if you want a tincture, you might, for instance, I have a limited range of tinctures, so I'm not going to name the best ones for it. What I would give you would be the canela or the cinnamon. It's going to have that iron and magnesium in there, complex, and really it's like a bit sparduric, and so you'll bring that sparduric energy back to the thyroid, and that's what you need. And I didn't mention also, oh yeah, I did. I said you've got grounding, hormonal, and nutritional problems if you've got a thyroid problem. So you need to balance your hormones as well, and the grounding does that already. It switches everything on in your body. So the grounding, that's what I'm saying, it's like 50% of all the problems, whatever your problem is. But specifically the thyroid today is the problem. So yeah, that's half the battle, and then you're looking for like iron, magnesium, selenium, just to get your nutrition up basically. I don't just aim for those four. I don't think that's a balanced way to heal the thyroid. Yeah, you can up the dose on those 4 or 5 main things you need for the thyroid, but the best way to approach it would be from a broader base first. So the grounding is the broadest. Obviously drink and flush and stuff any toxins out, so you're taking diuretic teas and stuff, and then you're thinking already starting to balance because you've been grounding. And so then the nutritional tinctures, and so that's when they come. You might use dandelion. You can use so many different things to, like, it's this thing I was saying at the start of the video about there's not just one way to do it. There's not just a thyroid tincture. And even if you made a single thyroid tincture, you could make 10 different types of thyroid tincture. You know what I mean? Or 20, maybe more, 30, I don't know. But the point is there's no one-size-fits-all thyroid tincture or the perfect thyroid tincture. That's the absolute incorrect mindset that's come from the pharmaceutical pill mindset, where they take complex nature and they decomplexize it, and they actually make it very simple into one compound. But notice nowhere in nature does that happen ever. So if there's, you know, a plant or something, it doesn't contain one compound, it's a healing herb, it always has like thousands or hundreds of different actions, and, you know, tens to hundreds of like different molecules, so there's lots of different actions and reactions going on, and synthesizations. So it's not just like how they do it in the laboratory. They excise one molecule and they say this is the special thyroid molecule. That is so stupid. You know, it's funny people even buy into this stuff, because if you know how to make your hormones better, then you'll never have the problem again. And the medications they give you are so unbalanced that they make you worse in other areas. You get side effects, yeah? There's no side effects of the strategy I'm talking about. It's only building towards the perfect thyroid health. So you're starting from a very broad base and you narrow in what your body wants, what your body can use, what your body can even absorb. Can it even absorb the Brazil nut? Did you even soak the Brazil nut? You know what I mean? So there's all these little avenues and nuances that people just do not even think about when they're approaching any healing, but specifically today we're talking about the thyroid. And so that's my strategy. You start with the simple and broad stuff and work your way towards like the, if you need it after months of trying to work your way towards it this way, if you need it, then take a pill, then try and heal yourself that way. But that's not the first road, that's the last road you take. So ending at synthyroid or something, and then, I was trying to correlate that to the mindset of asking me for a special thyroid tincture. Look, there's going to be a tincture you can make, which I could make a tincture called the Thyroid Tincture, and it would just be one formula. I could probably make 20 different formulas for it, with different herbs cutting in at different angles, different proportions, different ideas of use, how to use them. For instance, this is what I was going to say at the start with two big main examples, and I'm going to end it here. I'm just going to give you two random examples, two ways to do this, and they're kind of the opposite way, and so you could try different things in between. So one way would be to approach it like, okay, these are the four things I need. I need iron, selenium, I need magnesium, and whatever the other one is they recommend for it. There's four main ones. It's zinc. So zinc, iron, magnesium, and selenium are the four main things that people recommend for the thyroid. Now notice these, because zinc, magnesium, and iron, they're very sparduric. What's sparduric? Like electric, conductive. And when you're grounding, if you have those things in the thyroid, and notice that they're the things recommended for the thyroid, so we must have them in there naturally, because people have figured that out, what to take to heal it, those four substances, the four molecules, zinc, iron, magnesium, selenium. Now, if we have them in there properly, then when you ground, the charge is actually held there. The negative charge will actually be held there. That electrical state will be held there longer, better, and stronger, making your thyroid longer, better, and stronger. So here's the two strategies. You can go ahead and approach it by approaching just straight away going to the four, and then you could detox, and then you could you could build on those four substances, and then you could detox, and then you could like diuretic detox, get out toxins, blah blah blah. Or you can do it the exact reverse way. You could first like antibacterialize yourself, antifungal, whatever. You could go the whole detox road first, and then start nutritionally building. So that's what I was just trying to say today, that there's different ways to approach this. I've also mentioned the four most famous like remedies that people recommend, those four molecules, the most important ones to the thyroid apparently. But hey, I'm telling you, the grounding is very, very important to this. Don't underestimate the negative charge accretion. You get it through the K1 meridian, the kidney 1 meridian, which is like the ball of your big toe. So you're always sort of playing with the ball of your big toe on the ground, directly on the grass, directly on the dirt, directly on the sand, directly on the forest soil. Okay, enjoy and happy healing. Benjamin Kauenberg, www.consciousazine.com. Today I was representing one of my businesses called Tincturas Tribal for Hojas, which is 4-leaf tincture clovers, or lucky 4-leaf tincture clovers, clover tinctures. 4-leaf clover tinctures, sorry. So that was Spanish and English.